Business Online, a webinar series by Cerebrate New Zealand, a public relations company that creates deep thinking events. My name is Elizabeth Viljoen, and I am the moderator for this panel discussion on confidence building, the fourth topic in this webinar series. Our focus question today will be, how can someone gain confidence to move their business from a local to a global network? Audience members are welcome to drop questions in the chat box. If we have time at the end, we'll answer some of your questions online and some via email. Our panel members are Tsuro, CEO of FranklySpeaking, that focuses on leadership coaching. He's also the founder and curator for People Making History and the chairman of the board for the eHub. Kaylene Ledgar is the author of 2 books, including Speaking is Not Worse Than Death. She is a holistic life and communication coach with clients from Australia to the United States. And then Estelle Roux-Stevens. She's the People Operations Consultant at Testing for All, the founder of Stellar People, a career and talent development consultancy. She's also the co-founder of Mentorjam, that helps corporates to implement successful mentoring programs, and a mentor at Startupbootcamp, a network of industry-focused startup accelerators. What a wonderful panel. Like I said in the beginning, our focus question will be, how can someone gain confidence to move their business from a local to a global network? I would like to start with Frank. How would you define confidence?
So confidence comes from the Italian word fidere, and it means to trust. So the way I see it is, confidence comes from knowing what to do, when to do it, how to do it. The clearer you are about the path to a certain solution, the more confident you become. So confidence is really a function of being clear about a certain path that you need to follow. And when you trust that you're able to follow that, you become confident. Take, for instance, you're required to go to a banquet this evening, and you've been to a banquet before. You know what to dress. Money is not a problem. You know how to eat at the table. It is highly likely that, and you're not maybe afraid of people, it is highly likely that you'll be very confident going to that because you know where to shop. That's not the problem. You've got the money and you know how to dine, the etiquette of the dining, and you know how to network quite easily. So you go there with your head held up high and you present yourself with confidence. So confidence is just trusting and having that clear path in your mind that you can do this because you're clear of the path. That's how I would define it.
Thank you, Frank. And Kaylene, you radiate warmth and self-confidence. Do you ever experience doubt and uncertainty?
I'd like to say no, but I would absolutely be lying. Absolutely be lying. I do often feel self-doubt and definitely uncertainty. And it's something that I've worked on for a number of years. If I go back 17 years, one of the things that I was absolutely lacking confidence in was talking in front of 2 people. We've got 4 people here. Oh dear. But back then, oh dear, it really consumed me and it just took over my life. So I faced that fear, and by facing that, I gained confidence. But what I've noticed over the years is that when I have a break from maybe doing speaking or doing a break from doing something that I'm normally skilled and confident in, and I go back into it, that's when the uncertainty comes back in and the self-doubt gets, in my head, and my head starts talking and talking about it, over talking about all the fears and different things like that. But once I start and I get back into it, I am confident again. Last year, when I retired from the public service and started my own coaching business, a lot of self-doubt and uncertainty. It was a whole new world for me. And what I've learned is that I need to recognize that, and recognizing what I'm feeling and then breaking it down and then identifying what do I need to be confident. And a lot of it is upskilling and actually putting it into practice. So that's my experience of still living with self-doubt and uncertainty.
Thank you, Kaylene. Estelle, I watched your career develop over more than a decade. You have achieved so much success and you bravely built a fantastic career. Surely you don't lack confidence.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Yeah, and even when you say that, I feel a little bit like overwhelmed and a bit like, because even like I don't feel that way, and sometimes I feel a little bit like, oh, what am I doing? Should I be doing this? Am I in the right place? Why? And you know, we as children, we grew up. So I grew up in South Africa, and we grew up being told children should be seen, not heard, and that sometimes still sticks in my head, right? Because I didn't grow up in a family where we were lots of like, you know, theater and drama and acting and all this kind of stuff. It was very much like very kind of quiet environment. So I didn't grow up thinking, yeah, you know, I can speak out and be this and do that. And so yeah, over my career, I ended up kind of guiding myself into situations where I didn't have to necessarily speak up, and so I could just quietly do my thing and kind of in the background do what I want to do. But over the last few years, and what you say, Kaylene, really resonates with me, because I did feel very much in myself that there are so many things that I want to do and I could be doing and I should be doing, only if I had the confidence to just speak up and say what I'm thinking and do what I'm thinking. And you have to have some really hard conversations with yourself and kind of a little bit unwire some of the things that you might have been taught or just picked up as a child. So yeah, and then going back to what you said, Frank, kind of tying that together, yeah, I mean, it does really, and that kind of knowing what you're knowing in order to have the confidence to do something. So yeah, even Elizabeth, even today, these days, I feel like, what am I doing? Yeah, but yeah, so.
Your clients are often career changers. Do they also sometimes, like Estelle, lack confidence?
Absolutely. And I think they come into this whole idea of I'm going to transition my business. It might be career, it might be changing jobs, it might be setting up a business, a completely different business. And they're excited and they're passionate about it. And then once they start getting into it, they're like feeling a bit like a fraud. And I've heard a number of them say that to me. I feel like a fraud. And we spend a lot of time getting them to connect with their value and their worth and their experience, because they've got years of experience that they're bringing to the table. They have upskilled and educated themselves throughout the time, and they are more than worthy of it. But they need to, I can say it, you can say it to somebody, oh, you're fabulous, you're a really good speaker, you're really good at providing this service. But if the person doesn't, that's, it's going to be really hard for them to progress. So spending a lot of time helping them connect with their value, what they're bringing to the table, helps them be more confident in progressing forward with their business. But it still appears at different points as they progress. Often, the day before the launch of a book or the day before the launch of a course, and they've got those messages going in their head of, who am I to share this with the world? You are the right person. It's your story, it's your experience, and there are people out there in the world that want to hear that. So yeah, lots of people do have this experience, and just helping them connect with their value definitely helps them with building confidence.
I really like what you've just said there.
So what is your experience as a mentor for strong, dynamic young women, Estelle? As an older woman, I always think they must have a good self-esteem.
Yeah, you know, and so I work with a number of different women. I particularly like working with women, not because I am one and I can really kind of engage with that audience very well, but I really also enjoy it because I love seeing also women kind of go through these phases that Kaylene has just mentioned as well. Because, and I'm working with a woman in Brazil at the moment who runs her own company, and she really, she's the best person to be doing the job that she's doing. And even when you see her, I just love everything that she's doing and her business and everything, but she has such low confidence and low self-esteem. So working with her to really kind of unpack a little bit her journey and coming back to her values and coming back to what she believes and why she's doing what she's doing, and having her connect with her why and her purpose really helps her build her confidence. And you can over a period of time see how she kind of like blossoms into this fantastic CEO that she should be, and that she is, but doesn't always feel that way because of so many different things that's happening around her and the struggles that she's facing in the community she's in the environment and the type of business that she's running. So yeah, kind of really going back and connecting with your purpose, your why, and really thinking about, you know, kind of your contribution to what you're doing really makes a really big difference for someone to kind of flick that switch in their head sometimes.
Back to you, Frank. Taking technological expansion into consideration, how do your corporate clients experience the pressure to move from a local company to a global enterprise?
Well, I do think that for most of my clients, like you say, they're in corporate, but I do have a few small to or medium-sized business clients that go there. So for the big clients, they are aware of it. For example, I've got clients in the oil industry, and they know that people are moving towards, you know, more sustainable energy. And so they're already working on a digital transformation strategy to make things work. And so whilst they themselves used to resist, they may be meeting virtually for meetings with me, I do think that their corporate strategy has tended to have taken care of that. But to come back to maybe some of the business owners that I'm working with, because it is they that tend to react quite slowly and they don't always have the muscle that corporates have. I've had the fortunate privilege of having people who actually have just quickly embraced it. And I think especially the hard lockdowns imposed on us earlier this year were kind of a very big catalyst to making them see that, you know what, we need to move online. And suddenly, as they did their marketing and they were desperate to get business, they kind of, I actually have a client that actually then got an international client, and they say to me, Frank, I did not realize that all this time, the whole work I was doing was just 10% of my business, because 90% of my business is yet to be tapped into. And so I think they've been very open to the idea of expanding globally. They see the opportunities there. And I think it's very important to realize that when you're in business, most of us are in there for the profit. And if you're not making the financial profit, then you're likely going to be a charity making social profit. And that financial profit does make a difference to the survival of many people who rely on that business. And so it's important to be aware of the external factors, the opportunities and the threats that exist. And so if you don't do anything about those external factors, what will happen is you are disrupted. So you're either part of the disruption or you are disrupted in this whole disruption. And so it's very important. I think this period, this COVID period, became a catalyst to open people's minds to the potential threats and to be open to learn about the different avenues available that they could use to take their businesses out there. And so that's been kind of my experience. I would almost say thank you, COVID, for almost preparing my customers for a lot of the mega trends that are predicted for the 2020s. And so that's been my experience, really.
Yes. And now thinking about the pandemic, Estelle, how do the women in your business network adapt to and handle the obstacles of this world currently affected by a pandemic?
Well, I'm a huge fan of mentoring, as you know, and I've seen some really great success and some success stories, tongue twister there, of women connecting with mentors, especially during this time, and really helping them think about situations in a slightly different way. You know, we all walk a different path and all we have different experience, and mentoring has been something that has been really valuable to a lot of the women in the community that I work with. So yeah, so if you're unsure or you feel a little bit like overwhelmed or uncertain, seek someone that you admire, or that you know, kind of that their values resonate with yours, and have a conversation, and you know, dig a little deeper in some of the things that you know, you might have a bit of self-doubt or lack confidence in. And it's really great to get a different perspective on a situation, and sometimes you just need that small kind of little bit of clarity, or a little bit of kind of something to help you see past a situation that you might be completely overwhelmed by.
Yeah, definitely. So, Kaylene, as a coach, what practical advice can you give Frank's corporate clients and Estelle's network of business women to build their confidence?
Absolutely what Estelle just said about having mentors. I think that is key for all aspects of it. So definitely tap into what Estelle just said about making sure you've got that support. I would also recommend that you do take some time to reflect on everything that you're bringing to the table, and put that somewhere, whether you have a folder that you can refer to, whether you have it up on the wall so that you can see different things, because there will be moments where self-doubt comes in, and being able to see that will definitely help you being able to see your achievements. Know who your client is. Don't try and, I suppose for me, I was trying to compare myself to people that have been in the organization, you know, coaching for 20 years. Hello, I've not been coaching that long. So be mindful of where you're at and focus on your one client, your two clients, and from there build. Don't worry about the world, worry about those people and give them that service. And with those people, listen to them. Have a gratitude email folder, a place where you put nice notes so that you can remember all these good things that your clients say to you, because that's a reflection of your value and your worth and what you're doing, and listen to what they have to say. So yeah, have that mentor, connect with your purpose, know your specific client. Don't try and compare yourself to other people. And the most important thing for anything building confidence, take action. You need to do. If you don't do, you're never going to build that confidence. So you need to take steps, and small steps are okay. Back to you, Elizabeth.
Someone said the other day, if you never ask, the answer will always be no.
Yeah, that is so true.
We now have time for one or two questions. I think we'll do 3 questions. There's enough time. So each of you will get a question. And the first one is directed at Frank. It's from Barry Davidson. He says because of lockdown, he moved his roofing apprentice course online. He's the business owner and he coordinates the trainers, but he lacks the confidence to do the training himself. And now he feels that some of the trainers look down on him and he's losing grip as the owner of the company. How can he regain confidence?
So I actually think some of the advice is in what Estelle was just saying, but I think the crux of this is Barry needs to is sort of looking to build trust with his team. And I think one of the very important things about leadership is to realize that it's not really about you, it's about the people you serve, your employees and your customer. And so sometimes if you're able to go through a process where you're able to internalize that and understand that, you're almost able to be more flexible about how things are done. We live in unprecedented times, and it's not embarrassing not to know what's really going on. And it comes from that vulnerability to admit some of those things to your team are the things that get your team to trust you, because from vulnerability comes that trust that you're looking for. So I would recommend that, he's vulnerable and be honest with his team about what he's not good at, and sort of recruit them to be partners with him on the journey, to get their support, to get mentors, like has been said before by Kaylene and Estelle, who are able to help him into the industry, and also maybe even get other people in the meantime to help him with the training as he observes and he learns the path, to see what happens. I mean, it's quite fantastic to hear that he's taking his business online, his courses online, because digital content is certainly making it big. And very soon, just putting recorded content out there will allow him to sell that content without even him needing to go and do the training all the time. And the important thing is he doesn't even need to do the training. It can even be one of the other trainers that do that, and he can focus more on marketing and scaling that business. But if he insists that he would like to learn how to do the training, give yourself time, be kind to yourself, be practical about the things that you don't know. It's unprecedented after all, and slowly learn what needs to be done. And as you do it, you overcome your confidence, just the same way you learned how to train the first time you started your business. That's what I would say.
So I look a little further down and I see a question by Jane Morangi. Because women in business is your passion, Estelle, maybe you can respond. She has many skills and talents, but a degree in the arts. So Jane is drawn to public relations, but she feels that she is underqualified because she does not have a degree in marketing. She says that everyone wants her to do the work when she's a volunteer, but nobody wants to employ her. So she feels that she suffers from imposter syndrome. She's good, but she's not worthy. How can she overcome that fear?
Well, firstly, she's not alone. There are millions of women, men and women who suffer the same. And yeah, wow. And it's a really, really difficult one, especially because it does make you feel really alone. And I would absolutely recommend the first thing she does is to speak to some people that she's either worked with before to help her kind of understand some of the skills that she definitely does have. Think about the thing that she does bring to the table. Think about her core strengths and things that are absolutely, that she's super, super great at. Write them down, make a vision board, see it every single day, doing the voluntary work versus the paid work, that's a really tough one, right? And especially in this market that we're in right now and everything that's happening around us, it's a very, very, very tricky industry to enter into. But sometimes it is absolutely worth trying to get the foot into the door and doing some things voluntary, and then building that up into something that so people can also see your worth and see what you're bringing to the to the business or to the table. And then finding someone who's walked that path before. That is a really key thing for me. So that'll be the first thing. The third thing to do is to find someone who's done that before, who you can connect with, who you can speak to, who can help you kind of guide you into either the right people to speak to within your community or within your industry or within that specific space, but get some really practical tips from them in terms of what steps that they've taken to move into that space that she's interested in working in. So yeah, getting a vision board, putting those core things that you bring to the table, you know, visible so you can see them every single day, absolutely. And then connecting with someone who's done that job before, being willing, you know, to explore that.
Both you and Kaylene mentioned something like the vision board. I know a friend who struggled with her self-image, and she wrote on the mirror, "I am beautiful."
Yeah.
Just reminder every day, don't judge yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to.
Kaylene, you can wrap things up by answering the last question. And I see one that you'll absolutely love. Doreen started writing science fiction after she retired. It took her 7 years to complete a novel and 3 more years to find a publisher. Now, they want her to do a virtual book tour, and she was already scared of a real book tour. So how can she build her confidence?
Well, thank you for that question, Doreen, and congratulations on publishing your book. What an achievement that is. Confidence will come in time. What I can share with you is what you can do so you can be better prepared for your tour. And then when you're doing each of your tours, each time you speaking and presenting, then you'll build confidence over time. So one thing that you can think about and talk to the people that you're working with your tour is, what is like the agenda? What's the plan? Will you be reading part of your book? Will you be answering questions? And if you will be doing, say, reading a part of your book, you can practice doing that on an online platform. So I use Zoom a lot. So I often will have myself speaking in front of Zoom with nobody else in the meeting at all, because it gives me that experience speaking to the camera and seeing myself on the screen while I'm preparing. So you could do that with reading your book. You could also prepare some questions that you would like to answer as part of your book tour. And you could also rehearse those questions with somebody that you're working with on the tour, or maybe a family member or a friend. Get them online and have a practice session. Whatever you can do to prepare yourself so you feel more confident and comfortable when you are doing that tour. Before you get online, take some deep breaths. If you do meditation, maybe a short meditation will help as well, just to get you in that frame. But people want to hear about your book. They're going to be buying your book. They want to hear the true you. So let them see the true you, and confidence will come in time. Back to you, Elizabeth.
Thank you. Any final words of advice? Maybe we can start with Estelle.
Wow, final words of advice. That confidence is not something that just appears. You have to kind of work on it, and you know, you often have to draw on your own experiences to help you build your confidence. Yeah, and find a mentor. Absolutely.
And from the coach, Kaylene?
I think be kind to yourself and don't compare yourself to others. That to me is one of the biggest barriers. You compare yourself to others. Stop setting those high expectations. You know, every expert was a beginner at one point, and it's okay to take those baby steps to work towards it, and give what you can now. People want to hear it. There's so many people in the world. Your message is there to be heard.
And from the wise man, Tsuro?
I think ending off where we started, we did say that confidence comes from the word trust. And to use the metaphor, it's like dating. You know, you don't get to meet someone and trust them immediately. It's a process. And so that's what confidence building is like. It's a process. You need to, you can't have a false sense of confidence, which is delusion, in doing anything. So you need to, your mind is not stupid. It knows that, you know, you haven't experienced this, you haven't done this. So just follow the advice that Estelle and Kaylene have said. Just give it a go. The best way is just to give it a go and experience it. And in that, there's no better way to build confidence than actually doing it, learning and practicing whatever it is that you're lacking confidence in. And before you know it, you will start overcoming some of the obstacles in doing that.
Yes. Thank you very much to our panel members, Tsuro, Estelle Roux-Stevens, and Kaylene Ledgar. We'll download the questions in the chat box and try to respond to them via email. We hope that the webinar encouraged you and gave you the confidence to move your business online.
Thank you.